Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to look at the clouds. The title is Google Cloud, but actually all of the clouds, they kind of have the same problem. They are they are very easy to use, and it's easy also to fall into a trap. And that trap is, of course, that now you're bound to that cloud provider. When you're playing with any of the cloud providers, just like um, like Google Cloud, then I would definitely recommend that you start going into budgets and alerts, and then put on some kind of limit, because at some point then you're going to enable some options, or you're going to try out some stuff where you suddenly get a huge bill. I've tried that multiple times. But actually most of the clouds. So just do that. Just a small hint right there. Okay, okay. What do I mean with easy and easy to get married? If there's something called Cloud Run with Google, they have this Cloud Run feature right here, and what it does is that it's actually a service, and it's the cool thing about this is that that we can actually instead of setting up a Kubernetes cluster and having all of the hustle with that, then you can actually just create a service based on an image, and then that will be spun up, and you don't have to think about scaling. You can just set that as an argument right here. You can try to test it out with a sample container right here. The trick right here is that this container URL, it needs to be a URL placed on either Google Artifacts or Google or with Google Containers right here. And if you look in the documentation right here, then of course you can see the same. Either you need the container registry from Google or the artifact registry from Google, and they recommended you to use the artifact registry, which is a newer container registry actually. So, and also more flexible container registry can be used for artifacts as well. It doesn't need to be Docker images. But here I can easily deploy something. I can name my service something, and I can spin it up, and I can say that CPU is only allocated during request processing. That is a good one. And then you can have maximum number of instances. This is also really dangerous. You need to set it down to at least 3 or maybe even 1. So it's of course, if you only have 1, then you cannot be sure to have your service up and running always, because when you're taking down an older version, then of course you would lose the service that you're providing and the value that you're providing to other people or other companies, of course. And then you can set up some traffic restrictions to allow all traffic, or should it be internal traffic. You can set up some networking with Google Cloud, of course, and then only allow people on your network to do that. That's one option, right? And you can also set up some authentication right here, either with the IAM, or you can just say that you allow unauthenticated invocations right here. Then you can also set up some. Then you need to say which port is this container actually using inside, and then that will then be mapped to port 443 and port 80 out to the outside. So that means that this image right here, it actually spins up on port 8080 inside, and then it will still be exposed to us on port 443, the HTTPS port. Yeah. And then you can choose, of course, the memory and the CPU and whatever you would actually expect right here. You can also set up some. Here you can actually choose your VPC, so you can connect it to a network if you want to. You can set up some security stuff you can actually set up some encryption right here. The Google managed encryption is right there. You can actually also apply a domain. If you bought a real domain, then you can actually add that. You can also set some environment variables right here. Mike's variable test 1 2 3 4, and you can also add some secrets. And the secrets are that is something that's global for Google. And then you press create, right? And then you're happy, and then you say, then you're really you're impressed that, oh, this is so easy, then now I don't need to create all of these Kubernetes and Helm 3 scripts, right? To deploy my applications. But there is a downside, and the downside is that you need to push your image to the Docker, to Google's Docker container or the Google artifact registry. So yeah, one of these two right here, artifact registry or container registry, and those are Google products. You cannot go and log into an external private registry. Of course, you can use public registries also, but you cannot use private registries at all. You have to use Google's right there. So that's how they're trying to wheel you in on their products. Of course, and of course it makes sense. It's not just Google; it's all of the other cloud providers. They're trying to do the same, of course. So now I was just fiddling with Google. So that's why I'm focusing on that right now. But let us see. Now we have the service right here. So now I'm going to copy this URL. This URL is actually something that we can actually reach it on from the outside. So I'm going to copy that. Then I go and put that into my browser. And here I can see, yay, this is actually, this comes from that Docker image right there. It's running. It's easy. Yes. Yeah, it's cool. And the name is right now Mike's demo, and the cloud service is named hello, and it runs there. So cool. Except for then you are bound to Google's container registry there. There's another example that I was a bit not surprised about, but we have these Google functions right here. So try to go to the Google font for the cloud functions right here, Google Cloud Functions, and all of the cloud providers, they have something that resembles this one right here. Amazon have the Lambdas. I don't remember what the Asian name is, but they all have something like this where you can go and then you can create a cool little function that actually has access to all of your cloud's resources. So it is very convenient, and it's very easy to use. It's very easy to also to put it into to production, because you can just create the function right there, and then you can type in the code. One of the languages you can choose is JavaScript, and let me just show you. If we go to the JavaScript tutorial, just see here what the first line is right here. Look what actually happens right here. Const functions require Google Cloud Functions Framework. So again, when you have made this function right here, then you just need to know that you cannot take that function and then move it to Amazon or Asia at all. So you have to rewrite it. Of course, you can write the code so it's you can create a function instead of the constant right here, and of course it's easy to move if you want to do that one day. Most of the times when you have a cloud, then of course it's very rare that you actually choose to move from one cloud provider to another one, because they are competing. So if one cloud provider has something that is much cheaper than the other one, then of course the other one would lower the prices, or the other way around. The first one will of course raise the prices. It's just so you know that when you start using these cool features that are really easy to use, then you are also almost getting married with the cloud provider that you choose. You just need to be aware of it. I'm not saying that you should not use it. Just be aware. Yeah. So that was actually it. That is what I wanted to show you. I really like all of the cloud providers. It's not that I'm using for my own webpage. I'm actually using DigitalOcean. That's simply because that was the one that gave me the most resources for the least amount of money. So that was the cheapest one actually, and it's also it's still quite good, and it doesn't have as many options as other clouds yet, but it is more and more options are actually built on top. Was there anything else? I think actually that's it. Yeah. Just remember, go to billing to begin with and set up an alarm just like you saw. And whenever you're done playing around with stuff, like now, I have something called Cloud Run running. Remember to stop it and actually tear it down. There's one more thing I want to say about the clouds. One thing that you actually get, which is really awesome, is actually the dashboards. The dashboard and the monitoring is quite easy, and it is set up by default, and you can go and look up your logs for all of your for all of your resources, for all of your applications actually. So now I go in here and then you can actually see this is the log for now. That actually says that now this hello service was up and running and all that, and I can search in it. Yeah, so it is quite awesome, and you don't have to set anything up by yourself, and you don't have to pay extra to get this log explorer feature right here. So that is and that is how it is with other cloud providers, just so you know. So of course the cloud is cool. You just need to know that when you choose one, it is usually not that easy to choose another one instead of it, unless you're very strict about how you use your cloud. You can, for instance, install you can use a Kubernetes cluster, and then you can install all of your stuff into your Kubernetes cluster, and then you can reuse those scripts to other cloud providers also. Unless, of course, you want to use some of the cloud-specific resources that actually are inside the Kubernetes cluster. You can just avoid doing that. So yes, we save a lot of time, but we also are getting married to the cloud provider that we choose if we want to use these cool features right here. Another thing that's cool with these clouds are actually that you get software as a service, so you don't have to think about backup and restore. Especially if you choose the clouds for storing data. There's a lot of time to save right there, so you don't have to create backup jobs that runs maybe daily. If that's what you want, you don't have to think about the backup, and I also don't have to think about redundancy. It is a service. It's not like servers that you are buying into. So that is that is also quite cool. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.